I was sitting in the surgical waiting room at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, holding my husband's hand so tight my knuckles were white, watching the clock tick past hour 2 of my 8-year-old son's emergency appendectomy, when my phone buzzed with a text from my father. "Hey sweetie, your sister needs someone to watch Biscuit this weekend. She's going to the Hamptons with Marcus. Can you take him? She'll drop him off Friday." I stared at the screen. Read it twice. Then 3 times. My son, Ethan, was literally on an operating table right now. I'd sent a family group text 4 hours ago. Ethan's appendix burst. Emergency surgery. At CHOP. We'll update when he's out. 37 people in that group chat, including my father and my sister Vanessa. I'd gotten responses from aunts, uncles, cousins, family friends. Praying for Ethan. Sending love. Keep us posted. Not one word from my father or Vanessa. And now, he was texting me about watching my sister's golden retriever so she could go on a vacation with her trust fund boyfriend. My husband, Derek, saw my face. "What's wrong? Is it the surgeon?" "No," I said quietly, my voice strangely calm. "It's my father. Asking if I can watch Vanessa's dog this weekend." Derek's jaw dropped. "You're joking." I wish I was. I showed him the text. He read it, and I watched his expression shift from disbelief to fury. "Ava, don't respond to that. Not right now. Wait until." But I was already typing. Because something inside me, something that had been bending and bending for 34 years, finally snapped. And the response I sent would change everything. "No. I'm at the hospital while my son is in surgery for a burst appendix. You knew that. I sent it to the family chat 4 hours ago. But you didn't respond. You didn't call. You didn't ask how Ethan was. You didn't ask what I needed. You asked me to watch Vanessa's dog so she can go on vacation. So here's my response: no. Not just to the dog. To all of it. I'm done being the reliable daughter who drops everything for you while you never show up for me. I'm done being the backup plan, the free babysitter, the one who's expected to sacrifice because Vanessa's plans are always more important. Ethan is in surgery. And you asked about a dog. Think about that. And don't contact me again." I hit send. Turned off my phone. And went back to waiting for news about my son. My name is Ava Mitchell, and if you're watching this, stay with me. Because that text message was the beginning of the end of a relationship I'd been trying to fix for 34 years. And my father's response, when it finally came, proved exactly why I'd been right to send it. Let me take you back so you understand how we got here. I'm the oldest of 2 daughters. Born and raised in the mainline suburbs of Philadelphia, my father, Richard Brennan, owned a successful pharmaceutical consulting firm. My mother, Catherine, died when I was 16 from breast cancer. After she died, my father remarried within 2 years to a woman named Diane who had no children and very clear ideas about what kind of family she wanted. Vanessa, my younger sister by 6 years, became Diane's project. Private schools, designer clothes, European vacations, a BMW for her 16th birthday. Meanwhile, I was in college on partial scholarship, working 2 jobs, getting by on my own because my father's financial support came with so many strings I'd chosen to cut them. "You're older, you're more responsible, you understand," he'd always say when I'd ask why Vanessa got things I'd never gotten. Vanessa needs more guidance. She's still finding herself. Vanessa was now 30. Still finding herself. Still being bankrolled by our father. Still having every problem solved, every whim funded, every inconvenience managed by other people, usually me. Over the past decade, I'd become the family's unpaid support system. Need someone to watch Vanessa's apartment while she traveled? Call Ava. Need someone to pick up Dad from a medical procedure because Diane was too stressed? Call Ava. Need someone to help Vanessa move for the 4th time in 3 years? Call Ava. Need someone to deal with Dad's Medicare paperwork, his prescription refills, his insurance claims? Call Ava. And I'd done it. Every time. Because that's what responsible daughters do, right? They show up. They help. They sacrifice their time, their energy, their own families to make sure everyone else is taken care of. Even when no one showed up for them. Even when their own needs were constantly deprioritized. When I got married 8 years ago to Derek, a high school teacher, my father had missed the rehearsal dinner because he was taking Vanessa to look at apartments in Manhattan. She's having a crisis, Ava. You understand. You're more independent. You don't need me there. When I had Ethan, my father visited twice in the first year. But he flew to Costa Rica with Vanessa and her boyfriend for 2 weeks because she really needed this trip to process some things. When Ethan was diagnosed with severe food allergies at age 3 and we had to rush him to the ER for anaphylaxis, my father's response to my frantic call was, "That sounds scary. Listen, can I call you back? Vanessa just got into a fender bender and I'm dealing with that." Pattern after pattern after pattern. Vanessa's minor inconveniences always took precedence over my major crises. Her wants always outweighed my needs. Her emotional comfort always mattered more than my actual emergencies. And I'd swallowed it. Accepted it. Told myself that's just how families work. Some people give more. Some people take more. You just do your part and don't keep score. Except I had been keeping score. Not intentionally at first, but after years of being the giver who received nothing back, I'd started documenting. Every time I dropped everything to help them and they didn't show up for me. Every birthday they forgot. Every milestone they missed. Every time I was told my problems were less important than Vanessa's latest drama. I had a folder on my phone. Screenshots of text conversations. Calendar entries showing all the times I'd rearranged my life for them. Photos of me sitting alone at Ethan's school events because my father couldn't make it, but had somehow made it to Vanessa's boyfriend's art gallery opening the same week. I hadn't planned to use it. It was just for me. Validation that I wasn't crazy, that the imbalance was real, that my feelings of being perpetually deprioritized weren't just sensitivity or selfishness. But when my phone buzzed in that waiting room, when I saw that text asking about a dog while my son was in surgery, something crystallized. This wasn't going to change. They weren't going to suddenly see me. Acknowledge me. Prioritize me. I could give and give and give for another 30 years and it would never be enough to earn what Vanessa got by default, their attention, their concern, their immediate response. So I'd sent that text. And turned off my phone. And sat in that waiting room with Derek, waiting for news about Ethan, and felt something I hadn't felt in years, clarity. 3 hours later, the surgeon came out. "Mrs. Mitchell? Ethan's doing great. The appendix was badly inflamed, but we got it out before it ruptured completely. He'll need to stay for observation for a couple days, but he's going to be fine." I burst into tears. Derek held me. And when we went back to see Ethan in recovery, pale and groggy but alive and okay, I felt overwhelming gratitude that this was my priority. This child. This family. These people who actually needed me and loved me and would show up for me the way I showed up for them. I turned my phone back on in the recovery room. 43 messages. Most from extended family asking about Ethan, sending prayers, offering to bring food. 3 from my father. 2 from Vanessa. 1 from Diane. My father's messages escalated. "Ava, that was uncalled for. Call me when you've calmed down." Then, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. I'm your father." Then, "Fine. If you want to be dramatic and cut off your family, that's your choice." Vanessa's messages. "Wow, Ava, way to make everything about you. Dad was just asking a simple question. And, I guess I'll have to cancel my trip now since you're being selfish. Hope you're happy." Diane's message. "Your father is very hurt. You need to apologize and stop being so sensitive. He was just trying to help Vanessa." I read them all. Derek read them over my shoulder. They still don't get it, he said quietly. Even now. Your son just had emergency surgery and they're mad at you. I know, I said. That's why this time, I'm not apologizing. I'm not explaining. I'm not trying to make them understand. I'm just done. Over the next 3 days while Ethan recovered in the hospital, I received 17 more messages from my father, Vanessa, and Diane. Not one of them asked how Ethan was doing. Not one acknowledged what we were going through. Every message was about my overreaction, my disrespect, my selfishness. My father, I can't believe you'd throw away our relationship over a simple misunderstanding. I was multitasking. I didn't mean to ignore your text about Ethan. Vanessa, you've always been jealous of me. This is just another excuse to make yourself the victim. Grow up. Diane, family is supposed to forgive each other. You're being vindictive and cruel. Your mother would be ashamed. That last one nearly broke me. Using my dead mother to guilt me. But Derek reminded me, your mother would have been in that waiting room. Your mother would have been the first person through the door. Don't let them use her memory against you. He was right. So I drafted a response. One message to the family group chat, where 37 people could see it. Not angry. Just factual. Since there seems to be confusion, let me be clear, Ethan had emergency surgery 3 days ago. He's recovering well. Thank you to everyone who reached out with support. For those who didn't reach out but did reach out to criticize my response to being asked to dog sit during my son's surgery, I've spent 34 years being the reliable daughter/sister who drops everything to help this family. I've rearranged my life, my schedule, my priorities countless times. In return, I've had my wedding rehearsal missed, my son's birth barely acknowledged, his allergy emergency deprioritized, and now his surgery ignored. This isn't about a dog. This is about a pattern. I'm not angry. I'm just done. I won't be available for last-minute favors, emergency requests, or unpaid labor anymore. I'll attend scheduled family events where everyone is invited equally. But the expectation that I'm always available while my needs are always secondary, that ends now. I hope you all understand. If not, that's okay too. I posted it. And I waited. The responses came quickly. My Aunt Linda, Ava, I had no idea it was this bad. I'm so sorry. My cousin Jennifer, I've watched this dynamic for years and always wondered when you'd finally set boundaries. Proud of you. My Uncle Tom, your father's been coddling Vanessa since she was born. It's about time someone called it out. But from my father, Vanessa, and Diane? Silence. For 2 days. Then, on the day we brought Ethan home from the hospital, my father called. I let it go to voicemail. He left a message. Ava, you've embarrassed me in front of the entire family. You've made private family matters public. You've disrespected me and your sister. I don't know what's gotten into you, but until you're ready to apologize and act like an adult, I don't think we should communicate. Vanessa is devastated. Diane thinks you need therapy. And honestly, I'm starting to agree. Call me when you're ready to be reasonable. I played the message for Derek. He looked at me. He just proved your point. Even now, he's making himself the victim. I know, I said. And I'm not chasing him anymore. I spent 3 decades trying to earn what he gave Vanessa for free. I'm done competing for scraps of attention from someone who's never going to see me. I blocked their numbers. All 3 of them. Not out of spite, but out of necessity. Because every message was an attempt to pull me back into a dynamic where my worth was measured by my usefulness and my needs were always secondary. 2 weeks later, Ethan was back to school. Fully recovered, running around like nothing had happened. I was in the kitchen making dinner when Derek came in with the mail. You got a letter. From your father's attorney. My heart sank. I opened it. It was a formal letter stating that due to irreconcilable differences and Ava's public disparagement of family members, My father was removing me from his will. Vanessa would inherit everything. The letter was cold, legal, final. I should have been devastated. Instead, I felt relieved. Because this was the truth I'd been avoiding for 34 years. I was never going to be enough for him. I was never going to be the daughter he prioritized. And cutting me out of the will wasn't punishment. It was confirmation. I called my own attorney, Margaret Chin, who I'd worked with on estate planning when Ethan was born. Margaret, my father just disinherited me. I need to make sure my son is protected if something happens to me, and I need to ensure my father has no legal claim to guardianship or decision-making regarding Ethan. Done, she said. I'll draft updated documents naming Derek as primary guardian and your mother's sister as backup. Your father will have no legal standing. Anything else? Yeah. I want to formalize the family boundaries. No contact, no access to my son, no involvement in our lives. Can we do that? Absolutely. I'll prepare a cease and desist if they violate the boundaries you set. Ava, I'm proud of you. Most people never find the courage to do what you're doing. Over the next 3 months, I rebuilt my life without them. I stopped checking the family group chat. I declined invitations to events where they'd be present. I focused on Derek, on Ethan, on the family we'd built together. And something amazing happened. I felt lighter. Freer. No more anxiety about dropping everything for someone else's emergency. No more guilt about not being available enough. No more wondering why I wasn't worth the same consideration they gave Vanessa. I just existed. On my own terms. With people who actually valued me. My extended family split. Some sided with my father, saying I was too harsh and should have been more forgiving. Others quietly reached out with support, sharing their own stories of being overlooked in favor of golden child siblings. My Aunt Linda became a regular presence in Ethan's life, showing up for soccer games and school plays. I always liked you better anyway, she said one afternoon. You got your mother's strength. Vanessa got your father's ego. 6 months after the surgery, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was Vanessa. Ava, we need to talk. Dad's sick. He needs surgery. Heart valve replacement. And Diane, she can't handle it. She's falling apart. We need you. I took a breath. Vanessa, I'm sorry Dad's sick. I hope his surgery goes well. But I'm not coming. I'm not dropping everything to manage this. You're 30 years old. Diane is his wife. You both have the resources and capability to handle this. I'm not your backup plan anymore. Are you serious? He's your father. He could die. And Ethan is my son. He almost died. And Dad texted me about your dog. So yes, I'm serious. You handle this. I'm sure you're capable when you're forced to be. You're a cold, selfish bitch. I can't believe we're related. I'm not cold, Vanessa. I'm just not available. There's a difference. Good luck with everything. I hung up. Blocked the new number. And went back to making lunch for Ethan, who was building a Lego set on the living room floor, completely oblivious to the family drama that used to consume my life. My father survived the surgery. I know because my Aunt Linda told me. He's recovering. Vanessa's struggling with the caretaking. Diane's struggling with the reality that she can't coast anymore. And according to Linda, they've finally realized what they lost when they pushed me out, the one person who would have managed everything competently and without complaint. Your father asked about you, Linda said during one of our coffee dates. Asked if I thought you'd ever forgive him. What did you say? I said forgiveness isn't the issue. Priorities are. And he made his priorities clear for 34 years. You just finally stopped competing with Vanessa for last place. She was right. And I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurt. I was just free. Free from the obligation to prove my worth to people who'd never acknowledge it. Free from the role of reliable daughter who existed to make everyone else's life easier. Free from the belief that if I just tried harder, gave more, sacrificed more, they'd finally see me. They saw me. They'd always seen me. They just chose to look past me to focus on Vanessa, over and over, until I finally stopped standing in their line of sight. My name is Ava Mitchell. My 8-year-old son was having emergency surgery when my father texted asking if I could watch my sister's dog. And my response, a simple, no, followed by the boundaries I should have set decades ago, changed everything. Not because they finally understood. But because I finally stopped needing them to. I lost my father's inheritance. I lost my relationship with my sister. I lost my place in a family that never valued me the way they valued Vanessa. And in return, I gained something more valuable, self-respect. Peace. And the absolute certainty that my worth isn't determined by how much I sacrifice for people who never sacrifice for me. They thought asking about a dog during my son's surgery was reasonable because my availability had always been guaranteed. They were wrong. And the daughter they took for granted became the woman who walked away. Not out of spite. Out of survival. Because sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is stop fighting for people who never fight for you. Ethan's scar from the surgery is fading. The scar from that text message? That one healed the moment I stopped waiting for an apology and started building a life where I was the priority, not the afterthought.